Welcome back to NewZeroland. It's an exciting day. Yeah. Okay, just to catch you up to speed, back in July of last year, the motor encoder on my Zero died. This made it so that I couldn't ride the bike at all, not unless I replaced the encoder or replaced the whole motor. So what happened since then? It's been a while. What was the solution? How does this story end? Well, Zero's customer support team reached out to me and they organized a way for me to buy a new encoder directly from them. Then they shipped it over a week later and walked me through the whole process of swapping the new one in over Zoom. And we eventually got the bike to work. The whole experience dealing with Zero was really smooth and I'm so grateful for their help.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready! Yeah, I'm just kidding. None of that happened. So, as it turns out, you can't order new encoders from Zero. You can't order new motors from them either. This seemingly small problem opened my eyes to how useless Zero's customer support is. And it's turned me off the company entirely. Like, I am done with Zero, and I just want to sell my bike and move on now. It's ridiculous. But I have good news. I did buy a new motor, and it just arrived in New Zealand. So, it's finally here, my new motor. I got this from Craig Calfee in California. So, a little bit about him. Craig is refurbishing old Zero motors. So all the internal bits are way stronger, and his team was able to sync my controller to the new motor. For somebody in my situation, on the other side of the world, where there's no dealership or service center in the entire country, Craig is bringing my bike back to life. So since I can't buy a motor from Zero, actually they never replied to my email, then this is basically the only way to go if you want a refurbished Zero motor to swap into your 2014-2015 model Zero SRs. And the coolest part about this is this motor has 66 kilowatts, which the original one only had 50, and so this is 16 kilowatts more. So it went from 71 horsepower up to 88 horsepower. And my favorite part, the motor shaft is wrapped with carbon fiber. So super excited, and I can't wait to hook this up. So for a moment I thought, okay, well, what am I doing buying a whole new motor when all I need is a new encoder? So I bought a new encoder from Slovenia where they're made, and here it is. Super fancy. And it was only like 80 bucks. And so I thought, oh, this is gonna be great. This is like the easiest fix ever. But then I remembered two things. I need a cable to connect to the bike, and then do the whole remote calibration thing, which I thought that'd be pretty fun to learn how to do it, to maybe show you guys how it's done, but the cable costs $600. And then I also remembered part two is that my motor has bad bearings. It actually came from the factory with bad bearings. So it was making this weird like knocking noise. If you hear that in your motor, it's probably the bearings. And swapping the bearings is way beyond my skill set. So I just figured buy a new motor. Like instead of just repairing it, why not make the bike better? And this motor is basically brand new and it's got way more power, so why not? So I'm sure some of you are asking why this took so long, because the motor encoder died in July, right? And now we're in January of the next year. Well, originally the plan was to ship my controller to a guy in California who had a whole bunch of spare motors, and he also had the skills to sync my controller to one of his motors. But long story short, that didn't work out. So I lost a few months just with this guy trying to figure out why my controller wasn't syncing to his motors. So I ended up having him ship my controller up to Craig Calfee. Once it got to Craig, I had basically a brand new, way better motor synced to my controller within a week. And now here I am with that motor and my controller back in the bike, and I'm gonna see if it works. First time turning the bike on since July. Hey, it works. 72%. Hey, that's nice. All right, cool. That's exciting. So it only went down a couple percent in 4 months. So if you're curious if it's safe to leave your bike unplugged for 4 months, I guess. So now, I mean, there's no errors, right? So in theory, I should be able to twist the throttle a bit and the motor will spin. Is that stable? No, not really. All right, I'm gonna set down the camera. All right, moment of truth. Nothing. So,
A little longer than a few minutes later.
welcome back to the Zero. What had happened was, I'll try to explain as best I can. As simple as I understand it. The controller, this is my controller originally from the bike. I shipped that to California. This is the new motor. Those two were synced, so they're talking to each other, but they're not talking to the bike. So when you do the syncing and stuff, you also have to talk to the MBB on the bike, the main bike board, I think it's called. And so right now, those two are good, but the bike is not even like seeing anything. So when you twist the throttle, nothing happens, right? So remember that super expensive cable that I said I didn't want to buy because it was like $600 and I was only going to use it once? Well, the awesome dudes at Calfee Design sent me theirs, and I'm just borrowing it for this. They're going to remotely access my computer and make the bike run and make everything talk to each other today. And then I'll send them the cable back and I'll have a running bike again. Yes. Troubleshooting this thing took hours. Basically, the controller has this file on it that tells everything what to do. It talks to the motor, it talks to the bike. This file is really important. We tried a custom one that was made for this motor since this motor isn't stock, but that didn't work. We modified some settings, still didn't work. So in the end, we just loaded up the original 2015 Zero SR file onto the controller, and like magic, so this is it. I can't believe my bike is running again. I'm so excited. It's been like 5 months since it's ran, and over that time, I don't know how many semi-serious conversations I've had with Jen about just pushing it down a hill. Lots. But here we are, and I have a brand new motor to put in the bike, and I can't wait to install it and ride it and just be so happy about it. So yeah, I want to say a huge thank you to Craig, Damian, I think is how you say your name. Sorry if it's totally wrong, I have no idea. Callum, Ryan, you guys are legends. Thank you so much for helping me out and giving me tips and advice and just like everything. You guys are awesome. To Zero Motorcycles, thanks for nothing. Yeah, see you guys next time. And in the next video, hopefully I'll be riding this thing. Yeah. See ya.